Hey, good evening. Welcome to Paranormal Chat on Lost Limbs Foundation Radio Network. Hopefully you can all hear me. I was having a little problem hearing me earlier, but um, I think I'm okay. So if somebody's out there watching, just shoot me a little note here. Let me know that you can hear me. Just make sure it was just her computer and not something here, because everything I've got shows that I'm up and running. So there's somebody. Let's see. Yep, they can hear me. Okay, good. Thanks. Sorry for your luck, Wendy, but yeah, she said she could hear me. So as you see, on either side of me, Mike Couch is not here. He's uh he's home, sitting in his chair, relaxing, doing nothing, and he's just boycotted me for the night. I think so. That's what really happened. But nonetheless, we're going to proceed as planned. And just last week, we ran into some problems, and it's kind of sad when you think that, God, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And then the next day you get a email from the StreamYard that says that, oh, by the way, if you were trying to get on last night between this time and this time, it wasn't working because Facebook and StreamYard had a little tuss, I guess, or something. I don't know what they were doing. And they weren't getting along. So it just wasn't connecting right or something. So it wasn't us, it was StreamYard and Facebook. So hopefully we don't run into that problem tonight. Looks good so far, and we're up and rolling with that. So hopefully everybody had a good and safe Halloween. I'm throwing stuff on the floor here, but that's okay. And nothing crazy happened or anything like that. I know we had a pretty good weekend. We were out at Ashmore Estates over the weekend, and I always kind of worry about Halloween because you always get those people that like to break in out there and do stupid stuff. And so we scheduled some tours. We had some tours going on, which normally we just rent the place out for private investigation, but didn't have that happen. So we just did some tours, and that worked out pretty well. We had probably 50 or 60 people out doing the tour of the building last night, and then we had probably 100 or so on Sunday came out and did some tours. And then there was a investigation out there over the weekend too, and we had 50 people on Friday night and Saturday night. So it was a busy weekend out there, and which kind of surprised me. I was just surprised that we had that many people came in and out of the building. And according to Ashley, I was out there for some of it, but according to Ashley, they all had a pretty good time, and we didn't run into any issues or any problems, which sometimes we do. I mean, it's kind of like Halloween a lot of times is like New Year's Eve and Halloween all together, and we get the people that decided that, hey, let's go to the bar and then let's go to this haunted location and see what we can do. And they're expected the ghost to come out and tap dance for them, and it's like it doesn't happen like that. So they'll get over it at some point in time. But so that's when we get our negative Google reviews. It's on things like Halloween night when they're like, we went out there and spent 90 minutes in the building, we never saw a ghost. That place is haunted. And every location has the same issue and the same problems. So it's just something you'll learn to live with. You just kind of chuckle at it and walk away from it. So it happens. But Mike had, they had their event going on, and Asher Walton at Rhodes Hotel, and I guess they went pretty well too. From talking to him, they seemed like they had a good turnout, and everybody had a great time there. And I don't know, they'll probably be doing something like that again at some point in time with another shared event. So that's got to be kind of fun too. Just walk back and forth down the street to one location to the other. Just set up a hot chocolate stand in between there or something like that, Mike, and then make it go. So, yep, he said it went smooth. It was smooth. A smooth night. So, oh, you had smoothies. Okay. So that's what you're doing. But we've got, I don't think they don't have any events coming up at Rhodes Hotel that I can tell you about, offhand, but they are still booking. And if you're looking to book location, and keep in mind, as the weather starts getting cooler and even colder, they'll be open. They'll have heat. You can go in there and investigate, and there's heat in the building. There's heat in the rooms where you stay. If you're only going to be there at 2 o'clock in the morning, you've got it made. If you're going to spend the night, there's heat in each of the rooms. So, keep that in mind when you're looking at booking locations, because there's few and far between that the locations that have heat in the buildings. And fortunately, that's one that does. So check it out and book your night during the winter, or spring and summer, get in there and start booking dates because these things fill up really quick, and it's faster than you think they're going to. We've been booking dates out at Ashmore, and I think I looked earlier, and I just posted it on Facebook just today, and that we had like about half a dozen Saturdays, or a little bit more than that, I suppose now. Maybe 6 or 7 Saturdays. Let me see what it is exactly. It That's not popping. There it is. 3, 6. We had 10 posted, and I put that on there about an hour ago, and there's 2 of them already gone. So there's only 8 Saturdays between April and October. January, February, March, we have every Saturday available, but keep in mind there's no heat at Ashmore Estates. And then November, December is open too. And November and December fill up usually towards the end of the season when everybody wants to do something still, and it's not there. I mean, our November is crazy this year, and December we even got some dates booked. So it's getting wild, but check that out, and you can look at booking something like that. And if you don't know, well, just can throw this out here first. We had so many people wanting to show up to the turnout or for the tours last weekend. We decided to go ahead and run them again this Sunday. So if you know somebody that said, "Hey, man, I really wanted to go to a tour at Ashmore," we're going to do them. We're going to have them set up. The first 2 we do, we're going to have lights on, and then the last 2 are going to be lights off. And people kind of wanted to do some of that, so we decided to go ahead and do it. So the first 2 tours are lights on, last 2 are lights off. So we're going to be doing that. And then in November, we have the Tennessee Race Chasers coming out there, and Mike and Chris will be out there. Excuse me. And they will be hosting a doubleheader. We're going to do 2 that day. We're going to do a daytime and a nighttime investigation. $89 per investigation, or $149, and you can do both. So that'll be a lot of fun as well. Throat's getting dry. So but yep. So that's November 19th. We're going to have that. And another kind of cool thing that was just announced recently. Figures of all nights I don't bother to bring the water bottle down here. Oh well. Another cool thing that was just announced October 25th. Destination Fear will be out. They were at Ashmore Estates in June. It'll be coming out on December 30th on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus. So we're looking forward to that, and those guys coming down there, and well, they'll not come to the building, but we're looking forward to that release of that show. We've talked about doing some type of live watch or something, at the building, but it's gonna be cold, so it's kind of like no, I don't think so, but we're still kicking it around. We may try to do something with it. There's a place that's just opened up not too far from us that has they just in fact, if you've been to Ashmore before and you've seen the Lincoln statue that stands down there by the racetrack, this location is just opening up. He's going to open up a bed and breakfast there and have that going on, and so he's opening up a bar and a restaurant and everything. It's like 4 or 5 minutes from Ashmore, so it'd be kind of cool. And so I'm talking to him a little bit. We might try to do some type of a party there, showing the episode, and then maybe do a short investigation at Ashmore afterwards. So I'm going to talk to him a little bit more. It's not too far down the road, so I got to get with it and talk to him about it, see what we can do. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. When they were out in June, I was out there. They actually went in, and I can tell you that they went in that night to investigate. It was probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, something like that. I forget what it was, sometimes in that time frame. And when I came out there about 7 o'clock in the morning, they were just actually walking out the door. So they were doing stuff in there all night long. Unlike some of the shows that are in there for 2 or 3 hours and they turn around and leave. But nope, they were there all night long. And I asked Dakota, I was like, so don't tell me what happened, but did you guys have a good night? And he's like, yeah. He's like, you're gonna like this episode. It's gonna be good. So, which was kind of cool. And if you're not familiar with their show, before they actually had that show, It was Hunter and or no, Tanner, not Hunter, but Tanner and Dakota and Chelsea, and I forget the other guy's name that was with them. It wasn't Alex, but they were out there at Ashmore in 2015, and that was the first place that they'd gone on that Tale of Terror, I think is the name of the show that they have on Discovery Plus. That was the first location they went to. So I asked Dakota, why did you guys decide to come back? And he said that he really wanted to come back because Alex had not been there, and that if they only get 4 seasons, that he wanted to make sure that they started with Ashmore and they at least came out there for their final place that they were investigating was Ashmore. So that's what they did. So we're looking forward to it. It'll be fun. But let's keep moving my cursor down here. I don't want to do that. Let's bring our guest in tonight and talk to Tina. So, and just to kind of preface this up front, I talked to Tina in the Michigan Paracon, and I asked her to say, "Hey, I'd really like to talk to somebody about some Reiki stuff and things like that." I said, "But I'm kind of the non-believer, the skeptic of some of that," and she was fine with that. So if I ask questions that you think, God, he's being rude, it's more that I just want to get some stuff from my own knowledge, and probably people that want to know, but they don't have the. I'm trying to put this nicely. I never do anything nicely though. It's a problem. So maybe just trying to ask questions that they don't think anybody will want to ask or they're afraid to ask. So I've never been afraid to do that. That's probably why Mike's not on tonight as well. So because he almost wanted to, I think he wanted to bail tonight. I was going to ask the one of the psychic mediums that stuff too, but oh well. All right, let's bring Tina in here. So there she is.
Hello, how are you?
That's good. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. Did you guys have a Halloween?
I'm sorry.
Did you have a good Halloween?
Had a good week. I We are in the middle of a kitchen remodel, and it's rough. Well, you know, you do constructions type stuff all the time, and it never a kitchen or a bathroom. Boy, that could make or break a marriage right there.
Oh yeah, that and those are the two most important rooms if you're selling or buying a house.
Exactly, exactly. So no, we have someone else doing the work, but it's just taking way too long. Tired of living out of boxes. It's got to be done. Let's go.
Oh yeah, yeah, got to get that stuff done. In fact, I feel kind of bad because I was hoping to have Ashley in the house at Ashmore that we're building, but that hasn't happened yet. So we're getting closer. We talked this morning and told her like, you can see that it's getting really, really close when you start seeing like
Yeah,
we're running out of drywall. So um, yeah, so hopefully we'll have things done soon, pretty soon here for that.
nice.
So just for people that don't really necessarily know you that well, although I think a lot of people in the chat room probably do, tell us, give us a little background history of yourself as far as paranormal and everything goes.
Well, I have been in the paranormal. I've been a paranormal investigator for over 19 years. I am a full Reiki master teacher, and I have recently become a shaman with Coyote Chris Sutton, and I was one of the last people he taught before he passed on. And if anybody thinks that Chris being gone on this side ended the teaching, well, you think wrong, because the teaching continues no matter what side he's on. So that's, whoo, yeah, he keeps you going. Um, I love the paranormal. It's been a part of my life forever. I'm a third generation psychic medium. No, I don't do readings for people, but I do occasionally use my gift if we're doing an investigation or if I'm, out and about or going someplace that is reported to be haunted. I feel like I can feel out what might be there or not there. So
So,
that's really kind of about it.
oh, that's cool. I was thinking I knew that you were a psychic medium and all, but I thought I don't think I've ever seen you do anything like
No,
gallery readings and stuff like that,
no.
or put stuff out there doing stuff.
No, I don't. The only time I've ever done something like that is, well, you know that I do sell metaphysical jewelry, rocks, stones, crystals. Occasionally, someone will come up and ask questions about the different crystals and stuff and say, hey, I'm having this problem or my friend is, and what would be best for them. If I'm talking to them and trying to explain something, and I can't hear the person in front of me because the spirit that walked up with them is so loud trying to get my attention, I have to stop and say, can you just come over here for a minute? Let's talk over here. And then I'll give them the message and let them know what the spirit is being so adamant about me getting across to them. I've got plenty of friends who are out there who are doing readings. That's not really my thing, only if it's to the point where the spirit is extremely adamant that they get a message. Other than that, I just kind of ignore it, stay away from it. So
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing readings, so
right,
you know, you can get readings from everybody and anybody because there's so many that set up in different locations all the time.
right, right. And a lot of them were friends. I've been out there on the circuit since 2014, so I know a lot of the people that are out there, and they do that. I'd have no want to take away anything from them. Let them do that with their gift. That's their thing. Mine is something else. So yeah.
So, as far as a shaman, what is there a big difference between the shaman and then some of the psychic or like psychics and mediums and all?
It's a whole lot more nature based. There's so much to it. I wish I could have, exact names for everything. There's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes, behind what our reality is. It's stepping behind and getting to the problem and fixing the situation, but within a person, psychically, emotionally, mentally, and in time physically. And that's what was cool for me, is being able, and quite a couple of the other people I went through the class with Chris, were also into Reiki or were Reiki masters, is being able to work with somebody and being able to help them retrieve the pieces that are missing. And that's what a shaman can do, is to help go within the person and go back and find those shattered pieces, something that happened as a child, something that happened as a teenager, and they don't want to think about it anymore. They don't want anything more to do with it. They just want to forget about it. Put it behind that door in their mind. It doesn't exist anymore. Well, as you get older, you can't continue to be a full adult without having issues if you've kept some of them behind that door in your mind. So what a shaman can do is work with you and retrieve those splinters. You hear people say soul retrieval. Well, that's what it is. It's splinters of your soul. It's a piece of you that you've made go away because you don't want to face it. We help them bring it out and place it back by their heart so that they can reabsorb it, because they have to go through it to get to the other side. Now, being a Reiki master means I can take it further. After bringing those pieces back, the soul retrieval, bringing those shattered pieces back, after placing them back in their heart or within them, I can then take the Reiki and go further and continue on with the healing mentally, emotionally, all of the above. I can take that next step, which a lot of shaman, they do, but in their own way. But for me, that's when the Reiki steps in. That way I can work with them and help them, whether I'm right there on the scene with them or Reiki makes it possible for you to be able to do it from far away. That's something that a Reiki master can do, is to heal somebody else that's not in the room with them. How do you do that? I heard you, Terry. I've Robin Terry. I heard you in the back of your mind. Well, how the hell did she
You're
do
not supposed to be doing readings.
that? It's part of our training. It's something that we learn. We also have symbols that we use, symbols that we draw either on the person, in the air above them, kind of push them into them. The symbols aren't magic. They're nothing like that. All they are symbols that hold our intention for something to happen, whether it's for someone to be healed a long distance away, for the healing to happen every hour for the next hour over the next 3 days. Maybe the next day somebody's going on a job interview and they're really, really nervous. They really need this job. They want this job. You can do Reiki on that person and set it with a symbol for them to have Reiki that will give them confidence, that will help them to look that person straight in the eyes and be able to express what they want to say to be able to get that job, so that that Reiki starts the minute that they walk into that interview and after they leave. So that's it. It sounds far-fetched, yet I've seen things, I've heard things, and I've experienced them myself, as well as so have many of my clients. I wouldn't have people continuing to come back to me over and over again if I didn't know what I was doing. They're getting something out of it. If if why would they keep coming back if they weren't?
I
So,
think it's just your bubbling personality. So,
well, I like to make people happy.
yep. Now I know when you were here at Unity Day, it's been like 2019 maybe.
I think it was. I think it
Yeah,
was.
and but you did, you were set up to do some Reiki and all then, and
I did. I did. I think that at that time, that was the first time I'd ever done. I think I had I stopped at 10 or 12 people, but it literally, when things started at 10 a.m., from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m., other than a 20-minute break where I gulped down a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a bottle of water, I was going that whole time, constantly going. I set the things up for like 20 minutes. And the timer would go off, and I'm going, ignore it, ignore it. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going, because I just felt that this person needed this, or they needed me to work on something else, or they needed something later on, but I had to set it up for them. So yeah, a lot of them got a whole lot more than just 20 minutes, but a lot of them seemed to feel better. Everybody seemed to leave with a big smile on their face. So
right,
that made
and
me
that's what I was
happy
going to
too.
say. In fact, one of the girls that was there, she's in here right now. Said that her and her son both had sessions that day.
Okay. Oh yeah, Ashley. Yes.
So yep,
Yes. Well,
and
thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. Oh, yep. Cat Gash. Yeah, I helped you from a distance. So, yeah. Mike, I do see your question. Was there a personal experience that got you interested in the paranormal? Um, Actually, no. Being a third generation, it was just something I grew up with. I was probably 4 or 5 before I realized not everybody saw the spirits. I didn't realize that other people didn't. And of course, it was the 60s. My parents are always like, shh, 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 quiet, don't tell anybody. Be quiet, And my grandmother and my cousin is in the chat room too. Hello, Wendy. Yes, if you didn't know this about my grandmother, yes, she also had gift as well. She just kept it quiet. So, because back then people were not as open as they are now. You were mocked, you were made fun of, you were ostracized from the neighborhood. Yet whenever something was missing, car keys, wedding ring, their favorite pearl earrings that they wore at that wedding, but they can't find it, they always called my grandmother, and she was always able to tell them where to go find that stuff. So that's what I grew up knowing. That my mom had gift, didn't want anything to do with it. Later on, when I started to progress and starting to get better with what I had, then she seemed to accept it a little bit more. But I think she was always afraid of it, afraid of, because she never felt confident in what she was doing. So, but
do you think
who really is?
it sounds like from talking to others as well that some of this is like generation passed down? It seems like.
It isn't. It isn't always. I've met plenty of people that have a gift that it's just whoa, all of a sudden there it is. They've got it. Reiki is something anybody can do. Absolutely anybody can do Reiki. A good way to Reiki brings you back to center and helps you to be the best person that you can be, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It helps you find center. It's just a great way to pull things together for yourself. Like I said, if you're sick, it helps you to get better. If you're mentally struggling, it helps you to calm and quiet that down and find a better path. It does so much more than people believe it does. So it came to me when I was, I think it was back in 2007. I had sought out somebody because I was having a lot of trouble with my own gift, Have you guys ever heard of somebody who blows light bulbs out or street lights?
Other than Uncle Festus, I think from Adam's Family, that's about it.
No, it was that was something I was doing. Was I was blowing out street lights and blowing out light bulbs in my house, and I kept telling my husband, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." He kept saying to me, "It's not you, it's not you. Stop it," because he didn't want to accept that. And I'm going, okay, okay, and it got to the point it was becoming a problem between us. So I had found Indiana Ghost Trackers at that time, and I started to go to some of their meetings and met other like-minded people. Well, they had probably 6 months after I'd started going there, they had a big state like meeting where everybody from all the different chapters could get together, and there was training. And I met someone there that day. At the very end of the day, everybody's leaving, and I said, "I'll be right out. Just go ahead, go get in the car. I'm coming." And I asked the lady, I said, "Hey, have you ever heard of somebody who blows out light bulbs?" She goes, "Oh, yeah." And I burst into tears. I'm like, "Oh my God, I need your help." And Jen worked with me for about a year and a half, and she kept saying, "You really need to do Reiki." She goes, "You just it's just right up your alley." And she goes, "Your hands, I don't know, they're like rainbows to me." That's what I see. I'm like going, yeah, okay, whatever. About another 9 months down the road, I go to a friend of mine who was our local psychic, and I had never been to anything he had done, but we were friends. He had come to the ghost tracking meetings before, and he had a like a circle, or like everybody came and he did readings for everybody in the circle. And everybody was leaving, and he just kind of said, "Here, stay to the side, stay here, stay here." Everybody left. He looked at me and he goes, "I have to ask, are you a healer?" And I said, "No, no." He goes, "Well, I wondered." He goes, "Because your hands, they look like rainbows." And I'm going, "Okay, strike two. Here we go." Not a month later, other than going to Rick's spirit circle, I said, I want to see what it's like if I actually go and get a reading. So I went to somebody and actually got my very first reading. And as I was leaving, she goes, "Oh, you do Reiki, right?" I said, "No, I don't." She goes, "Really? You should. Your hands look like rainbows." I'm like, "I give up. You win. I'll do it." 3 messages, okay. Three people got it. Okay, it's time. So I called Jen up and I said, "Okay, I'm ready." I didn't even have to tell her what. She already knew. So, and that I became a master in 2010. And since that, I had no intentions of teaching. And the universe just laughed its ass off. And a year later, I was teaching. And as of right now, I have 40 students, 23 who are their own masters.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. But, yeah.
Yeah, Terry said that you're on her train list with Becky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Becky Castillo, who runs Silcon, is one of my masters, yes. I'm having that drink for you, Terry.
Yeah, thanks. It's helping. It's working.
Yeah.
Look at the Reiki in the water or something. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I have a question here from Wendy. What if you have multiple things going on, physical, mental, etc.? Will one Reiki session help with both, or do you treat them through separate sessions? Oh, good question, Wendy. Actually, this is hilarious because my students, we learn all this stuff. They learn so many different things, and they have their own trials and tribulations they have to go through while they are training. That's just something the universe does to you. We find out as you are doing Reiki that you are never truly in control to begin with. Reiki is, in a sense, its own entity. The universe works with Reiki. I can't describe it other than you have to feel it to understand it. But when I'm working on somebody, I let go. I don't so much focus on any one certain thing. I've tried. Oh, God, I've tried. And each time it's like it gets taken out of my hand. Here, I'll give you a very quick instance. I had someone come to me who had a very rare blood cancer. And it was his wife and I were good friends. And I had known this man for years. And he was always a big, tough, strong man, never sick a day in his life. He went to the doctor with a backache, and they said, "You have a rare blood cancer. Your spine is just disintegrating. You don't have much time left. There are a few things that we can do for you, but you need to make some changes too." And yeah, the family freaks out. He's all upset, but he doesn't cry. He doesn't get upset. Whatever the family says, they do. He starts to exercise more. He starts eating organic. He's doing everything he can, whatever the family wants, because he wants to stay here for them. So his wife suggests he comes to see me. He comes, he gets on my table, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do everything I can to cure this man. This is what I'm gonna go physically take that out of it. Yeah, right. So what happens is, as I start to work on him, not 2 minutes into him being an hour on my table, this big, strong man starts to cry. And then he just 50 minutes, this man just bawled his eyes out and cried and cried and cried. He kept going, "Oh my God, it feels so good. It feels so good." He goes, "Oh," and he just, Reiki knew, and I had to learn the lesson, that he didn't need the physical healing at that time. He needed the mental and the emotional healing first before we could get started on any type of physical healing. He needed that release. He was holding everything in. So, Wendy, yes, there are times that Reiki can work on everything at once, but there are times when, even if the master or the person who's working on you doesn't realize, Reiki does. It will work on what you need first, what you need to have done first. It takes care of that, and then we'll work on it. So yeah, a lot of my clients come. I have some that come every other month. I have some that come once a month. I have some that come once a week. So everybody's a little bit different. Everybody needs a little bit something different.
So where did Reiki originate?
Reiki originated over in the Asian countries, Korea and China. Usai Macau is the one who started it, and he was someone who he didn't eat for, I believe it was something like 10 days. He went up on a mountain, he was meditating, and he suddenly felt as though like a bolt of lightning had gone through him, and the gift and the knowledge and the ability to do Reiki came to him, as well as in time it came to him how he could teach others as well as do attunements on them. Now, an attunement is something that a master will do to a student. It does not give you anything. It does exactly the opposite. It takes away. When a master is giving an attunement to a student, when you're born, you're open, you're wide open, you are who you're supposed to be. But as we grow up, we learn to not see the things that are in front of us. No, that's not real. No, you can't hear that. No, that doesn't taste like that. There's all these no's and parameters until you start to build walls up within yourself, so that you're no longer who you were when you were born. You're not as open. You've got walls up now. You got blinders up because society and people around you tell you, this is the way you should be. This is the way you should act. This is the way you should talk. The only way to truly do Reiki is to get through that, to be able to access who you truly are. When a master has a student, level 1 student, when they do the attunement, what you do is you actually connect to that person, literally a soul to soul connection. And you go down and you find that wall that's separating that person from who they truly are. And we literally metaphysically punch a hole in it. So you got this big wall, I'm going to punch a hole through it. Now you have access to who you truly are, and you're like a 3-way light bulb. I've just turned on the first click. Level 2, that's a mental and emotional change. So when you come back, you have training, and then we do a second attunement. I punch a bigger hole in, and now they're even able to access even more, and they're actually able to take in and hold and use even more energy. I know this all sounds far-fetched, but I promise you it's real. When you do the 3rd level, when you go to mastership, I take that wall completely away. And this way, it's like I said, like a three-way bulb. Now you're your biggest, brightest being you can be. But I also take it a step further. Not every master does this, like you have got dry. I take it a step further, and where I access that wall, where I've knocked down the very last bit of it, I literally step over that within themselves. I step over that line where that wall is, and I find their Akashic record. Are you familiar with what an Akashic record is?
No.
Okay. A person's Akashic record is who they are, all their lifetimes, everything they've ever experienced, whether it's this lifetime, the last one, 25, doesn't matter. Your Akashic record is everything who you ever were and will be. It's like a lifeline. It's like a long straight line. When I step over where that wall had been, now when I say step over, I'm saying metaphysically. Okay,
Right.
there's nothing. I'm not physically stepping. I step over that line where that wall was. It's darkness. It's like being there's nothing there. There's nothing to step on. You're just in darkness, but you see this line and it's lit up. For some people, it's like a blue line. For me, it's like a gold neon colored line. I find that line and I hold on to it like it's a rope, and I literally send the biggest burst of Reiki energy I can all the way down the line, all the way down, and then it comes flying back with all the debris and I get rid of it. So when my students walk out the door at the end of their training for mastership, not only are they the biggest, brightest being they can be, they are going out with a clean record. Nothing is being carried with them from other lifetimes. And I have a lot of them that once I'm done that, and you get done and they're sitting there, usually they're sitting there, they're quiet, they're listening, I'm doing the attunement, and all of a sudden I do that, they're just sitting there going, their eyes are wide. They're like, lightning. I'm going, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. So a lot of people have physical reactions. I have some students that burst into tears. I have some that laugh hysterically. You never know. I have some that just talk about the peace that is finally centered within them, and they've never felt anything like that before. And the tears just pour down, and you can just see this utter peace and joy on their face. That right there, that's why I do this. To work with the students, to work with other people, to see a patient or a client come in who has mental and emotional problems that are literally shaking as they come in and they can barely speak. And after an hour of Reiki, they get up, they're calm, the shaking is gone, they can speak in whole sentences. And to see that person be able to do that right there, that's the whole reason you do it. So to quick get back to the gentleman who had the rare blood cancer, no, I did not cure it, but when he went to go for his procedure, they removed white blood cells from his spine. When they did that, they told him he would probably be in a hospital from anywhere from 6 weeks to 3 months, because they would have to do multiple times. They would have to do this. He would have to build himself back up in between. When he went, because we had done Reiki a couple of different times before he left. Now, granted, he also started to work out and he ate organic. He did everything he was supposed to do. When they went in the first time and they were able to gather so many healthy white blood cells that they only had to do it once. And he was out in 3 weeks, and they said they had never seen anybody come in and get out that quickly and have that many healthy white blood cells. So he got an extra 10 years on his life when they told him 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So, he got to meet, though he didn't make it to the wedding, he did get to meet his daughter's fiance. So, it gave the family a good 10 years with him. Now, like I said, I am not the only thing that was a part of it. Eating well, starting to exercise, that was all that made everything so much better for him. But again, Reiki can help. Is it a cure-all? No, I always tell people it's a helpmeet. You stay with your doctor, you do what you're working on with that doctor, but Reiki can help you heal faster. It can help you find that center that you're looking for. So, does that answer some of your questions, Terry?
Oh
Robin
yeah, yep,
Terry?
it does. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think some of this is sometimes mind over matter too a little bit? I mean, when you're doing this with people, it kind of puts their mind in a different frame because they're thinking a little bit different with it.
I do. I do. I really do. And I always tell people, especially those experiencing it for the first time, I say, "Come in, take shoes off, lay down on the bed." And I made the my room so that it's as comfortable as can be. There's soft lighting. The bed is thick and soft with cushion. Um, it's warm. There's very soft lighting. There's soft music. There's crystals about. Um, it's just an inviting place. So I tell them, come in, take your shoes off, lay down, and if nothing else happens to you, you just got 60 minutes away from life where you didn't look at your cell phone or have to talk to somebody. You could just, and 90% of my clients fall fast asleep and have most unbelievable dreams, really big, bright, colorful dreams. Um, so for some of them, it's just a relaxation time. And like you said, there are plenty of times where it is mind over matter. But then if it's helping them, is it
Right.
wrong?
No, I've never thought anything wrong with anything like
Okay.
that at all. It was just more of a like I'm very skeptical of psychics and
Understandable.
everything. You mean
Yeah.
I'm probably one of those skeptic paranormal believers,
That's
and
okay.
so yeah, which is I mean, Ashley and I were just talking about it last night. I think it was that I said I don't know how all these people that can come to Ashmore Estates and have all these experiences, and they come out and it's like how do they get this? Because they come in and get all these experiences, and even though I own the place and you're glad to have them that they do, but it's just hard to believe that they're getting all those experiences that
Mm-hmm.
they say they're having. And I'm thrilled for them because they're happy that they've had them, but I kind of question whether or not it's really right or not. If some of it
Yeah.
may be that they're just wanting to hear stuff and they're hearing it because they want to. So, but if they're happy when they leave, we've done our job.
Right. And that
And
very
same
well
thing with
could
you.
be. Very well could be. So, ah, Trina, where can you find good information on Reiki? Yeah, internet, books. There's great books on the Macau Usai Reiki Handbook. Some of it might not be, you might not understand some of it if you haven't had any of the training, but a lot of it will become more sensible the more you read into it. But yeah, there are tons and tons of books out there. There are different types of Reiki. I do Usai Reiki. There is Karuna, which is kind of like a step above Usai. Metaphysically and energy wise, it's another step up. There's Angel Reiki. There's all kinds of different types of Reiki. I just did the one that my teacher taught me. So,
No,
yeah.
I think you don't have to be psychic to do
Nope,
Reiki.
not at all. Not at all. Most certainly do not. There, I do warn my students ahead of time before they even come for their very first class. I said, be aware that after your first attunement, like I said, which is where I take things away, not give them to you, I said, don't be surprised if some of you don't actually start um, receiving gifts or have a gift that becomes bigger and better. Or you may already have gift, but it gets quiet and settles down and you don't use it as much because a new gift has emerged. I always feel as though the universe, God, whomever you believe in as your higher power, works with you because you are working with other people, you're helping other people. They're going to give you what you need gift wise. Now, one of the things that came to me when I became a master, this one of the gifts that was given to me was the ability of unbelievable smell. It makes Walmart complete hell, but one of the things I can do is when I am working on clients or I'm around other people, I now have the ability to smell cancer sometimes before the person even knows it. So it's I would describe it to you, but I can't because it's not just a smell. There's There's a color, there's a tingle, there's a taste. It's a combination of all my senses pulled together, and when I come across that, I know. Now, it could be something as simple as skin cancer where you could go and get it cut out and you're just fine. Or
Right.
it could be something much worse. As a Reiki master, when you work on clients, you never tell them, hey, you should go to the doctor because you got cancer. You can't do that. You're not a medical professional. You don't have a
Exactly.
license. You have to say things, how, when was the last time you went and you had a physical? Maybe you should. I mean, if you keep getting these headaches, maybe you should go see the doctor, and talk to them about some medication along with the Reiki if you want to keep it up. I never tell people that they have to keep coming back. I let that be their decision. Whenever they want to come back, that's their decision, not mine.
Oh, you're not like chiropractors then.
No, I don't push people to keep coming back. I let them make that decision. I have some people that come whenever things are bad or things they just need to, like I said, recenter.
Right.
So, you know, oh yeah, I'm reading some of these. It was during a massage session. Oh yeah, Melanie, I actually have a Reiki master who is a licensed massage therapist, and she does include some Reiki within it. So yeah.
Oops. Haven't the insurance companies sometimes noted or kind of recognize Reiki as a
They do
treatment too?
more on the West Coast. They are just starting to now, like on the West Coast and a few states in on the East Coast. It's the Midwest with the controlled set minds that they're still struggling to start to accept it.
Hmm.
New York accepts it. A couple of the other bigger states and cities do accept it, and then the insurance would pay for it. I've never had one, so I've never had to deal with that. But yeah, it is so much more accepted on the West Coast that there are surgeons that literally have Reiki masters come in and work on their clients prior patients prior to them going into surgery. And when they come out of surgery, again, the master's right there doing more Reiki on them. And instead of them getting morphine, they're getting a Tylenol
Oh
and
wow.
they're fine. I had my gallbladder out. This was probably 8, 10 years ago. I was like 1 year into being a master, and I got my gallbladder out, and they said, "Look, it's going to be like 5 weeks. You're going to be out of work. You're just not going to be able to go in." I'm like, "Oh, that's too long," and I just worked on myself constantly, constantly. And after when I went back for my 2 week checkup, the guy goes, "You're looking great." He goes, "Just give it 3 more days, four tops." And he goes, "And I will sign off for you to go back to work." So, and people come to me for before they go to knee surgery, and the same thing. Instead of them getting the heavy morphines or the heavy drugs, they're doing like the Tylenol Advance or the Advil Advanced, instead of big drugs that really just knock you out and you could possibly become addicted. It's helping, and they're healing faster. So, I wish I could tell you what the magic ingredient is. I guess the one thing I do tell people is if you need the ultimate explanation of what is Reiki, to me, Reiki is the physical manifestation of love. That's what it is. Somebody being able to take that and wrap you in it with a cocoon and fill you up with that golden healing light that is just nothing but pure love, and it just working on you, healing you, and bringing you back to center, bringing you back to your optimum healed point. So it's so hard to explain unless you've had it. So, but I
Sure.
hear quite a few people right here in the chat room are talking about it,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah. Oh, there's one of my masters, Samantha Lauren. She goes, "It's love." Yes, it is. So
Ashley
yeah.
commented about the when we talked about the experiences of people that are asked for, and
Mm-hmm.
I have to agree with her. So it is kind of it's interesting, when people come out with the same experiences, and one thing, and you've been out there before and all too,
Oh
and
yeah.
but one thing that I like to do as a venue owner is that I don't like to when people come out and they'll tell me that they've had an experience or something like that. I'm like, well, tell me. where, don't tell me where you were, but tell me what your experience was. Let me see if I can tell you where I think you were.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's a lot of venue owners that will sit there and lie to you just to
Uh,
tell you that, whatever you want to hear to make it look good.
yeah,
So
I've had that happen before. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, yeah, I can't do that. That's probably why I stay away a lot, because trying to be too honest with people, and they get they get upset, especially with the photos and all. You probably see photos and
Mm-hmm.
all that type of stuff too. But
Yeah, I think my first experience at Ashmore was being a vendor. I've actually never gone on an investigation here, but being as a vendor, you're there all day. They're like, "Oh, don't you want to do the investigation?" I just spent 12 hours
right,
in Ashmore. I've had experience. I was everybody was at a lecture. I think the Booth brothers were talking, so like everybody was there. I it was Christy Parks. She was in one of the other rooms, and I was in my room, and we heard a child run down the hallway giggling and laughing, and I poked my head out and she poked her head out, and we both, and there was no child there. And I said, "Did you?" She goes, "Hear the child?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "But there's nobody there now." And she goes, "There was." So yeah, that was really really cool. And for Tim to even say, he goes, "Yeah, I heard a kid too." I'm like going, "Really? Yay!" Because my husband is very much like you, Robin, where he's it's got to be right there in front of him. He's not
right.
going to believe it. He needs to see it and hold it. So
Yeah, I always look for explanations. There's got to be something different. There's got to be something else, and
right.
but it's amazing when stuff happens. And I've had some experiences that I could not explain. It's incredible, but at the same time, you sit there and look at it and say, how does this stuff happen? And
Right.
I think that's kind of like the Reiki stuff. With me, it's like, how does this work? When when you see somebody sitting there putting their hands over somebody, or even do it
Mm-hmm.
remotely, and it's like, how does this work? But I think it's probably along the same line. People just when they believe in this, and it's easier when you believe in certain things that it's going to help you out a lot more too. You're not
Intention
blocking it.
is huge. Yes. Yes.
So are you pretty much like winding down to the year now?
Yeah, because of us just doing so many different Paracons, Tim and I actually only did two this year. We did Parapsychon, which is at Mansfield Reformatory, and then I did SoCon. So only two this year because I don't know if you know, but as being out there on the circuit and doing these at so many different places, I got to be known, and I'm now in 10 different stores with my products
Okay.
because I do, the crystals, rocks, and stones, the jewelry. I also do steampunk hats, events hats, themed hats, and apparel. And then I also have the smudge sticks. So having all that, and now I'm in 10 different stores, I can't keep up keeping the stores filled and making enough. And plus, I have custom orders that come in all the time. Uh, I don't have enough time to make enough to go to a Paracon anymore. I'm just constantly, constantly busy. So,
And there's so much work too. People don't
oh
realize
my
it,
God.
but
Yeah. You guys may go to a Paracon and you're there for the 6, 8, 7 hours that it's open. Guaranteed, as a vendor, you're there 12 to 16 hours straight on your feet that whole time.
yeah.
That's
and
just
you
for
got
one day.
and you got to have that smile going too.
Oh, the whole time. And I do. I am. Like you said, I'm a happy, bubbly person. I like to smile. But there are times during the day where, like, I just need to go to the bathroom so I can just sit there and go, okay, I got this. I'm human. I have times too where I just need to go away.
There you go. Where's the website that people can find your
Certainly.
merchandise at?
Of course, I'm on Facebook, Tinamarie Ronan, but I have three different companies. First one is Nature's Earth Ware, WARE. They're all on Facebook. So Nature's Earth Ware, which is the metaphysical jewelry. And then I have Heirloom Haberdashery, Again, it's on Facebook, and that is like the steampunk, the theme, the wedding hats, the apparel, all that. And then I have Three Sisters Smudging, and again, that is on Facebook, and we do custom smudge sticks. A lot of people out there have the smudge sticks, but I and my two good friends, we have taken the smudge sticks, and we have an unbelievably huge amount of herbs where we custom blend them within the smudge stick for anything that you might have going on. So besides the crystals, besides the Reiki, now I got herbs thrown in there. So
So, yep, that was another show that we had talked about. Actually, it was Jessica one
yeah.
time about some of that type of stuff and all.
Mm-hmm.
I was at came out of Ashmore one day and walked out and somebody had poured salt all the way around their car, and I kind of chuckled to myself, thinking that's going to keep a spirit out. It's like I can't walk across salt, so it's like okay, but
Well, I think my favorite thing is when people say, "Oh yeah, I got some sage, I smudged, so now the ghost is gone." I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you right now, that does not get rid of ghosts. I call it ghost weed because the ghosts just settle down, relax, get calm. That's why they're quiet. Of course they come back. They never left. You just got them high. So
yep, that's probably what's happened more times than not. So, um,
yes.
and yeah, because I've always kind of chuckled at some of that stuff, and it's
Yeah,
like I just have a problem believing it. And in
that's
fact,
all
I always
right.
joke with the salt, and it's like if
Yeah.
somebody pours the salt down, I'm like, oh, I can't step
Yeah.
over this. I can't step over this. And so,
Well, thank you, Terry. She's saying my smudge sticks are amazing. She likes them. She gets them from time to time. So, yes.
yep. See, Mike, I didn't even embarrass anybody tonight with the questions I had for her. So.
You did. They were good questions. Very good questions.
Well, like I said, I talked to you in Michigan and told you that I was
Yeah.
kind of skeptical about the whole thing anyway. And I'm not gonna play the Howard Stern type thing and beat people up over something. But at the same time, you got to sit there and say, if you're not, you know, pessimistic about it, it's like why sit there and say, okay, we all agree with this, that's fine.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just got to ask some questions, and
Yeah.
it makes sense.
It's how we
One of these
learn.
days, I'll even try it.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. One of these days, I will get you on my table. I'll get you relaxed. If nothing else, you'll sleep for 45 minutes and get up and feel better.
So there you go. That might work out well. Ashley has to do that again sometime. She's always complaining about having problems sleeping, so that's to
Yeah.
throw her at the table and put her to sleep for a while.
I know we're wrapping it up real quick. Wendy said, "How long does a Reiki session last?" Typically an hour, but it could go depending. You could be doing a child and you get 5-10 minutes. You don't know. You can do it on pets. Again, probably 5-10 minutes. So that you can do it on plants, you can do it on pets, you can do it on inanimate objects. I've gotten my car who wouldn't start. I did Reiki on it, and damn if that thing didn't start. So
Tinamarie, the mechanic, the Reiki mechanic. Now, how
oh
long do the
Lord.
classes last when you're teaching somebody
When
Reiki?
I teach, my classes are 8 hours long. Master class is 2 days because you're also not you're becoming a master. And day two, if you want to become a master teacher, that is a whole separate class. So 8 hours, a full 8 hours, and we do stop for lunch for about 40 minutes, then right back at it. It's a
Now,
long day.
do you bring like guinea pigs in to people to that you
Usually
have
it's
them
the
test on?
people who are coming in. We work on each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you get people that ever say I didn't get anything out of this at all, or
I have had people tell me they didn't get anything out of it at all. I have had students that say, I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. I'm like, relax. It's okay. It's going to come to you. I have people that go, oh my God, my hands are vibrating. I'm like, it's okay. That's all a part of it. Everybody feels it different. I've had clients say they don't have anything happen. They just got relaxed. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. And then I've had that same client call me 3 days later and went, I don't know what the heck you did to me, but things are just better. My boss likes me now. I'm like, oh, well, that's good. That's a good thing. So it, it works for you whether you realize it or not, because it's doing something for you. Even, like I said, even if nothing else becomes apparent to you that you feel that has happened, you just got 45, 50 minutes, 60 minutes on the table, completely sacked out, with no interruptions and no cell phone and nobody asking you when that report is coming in. So,
Yep. And that can be worth it all by itself.
It could. I give you a quiet, safe space to just completely zone out.
What do Reiki sessions normally run, cost wise?
For me, my sessions are $50 for an hour. I have people right here in my own neighborhood that charge all the way up to $75 for an hour. I'm probably one of the cheaper ones. I've never upped my price. I've just kind of kept it there. But there are people who have come to me who really, really needed the Reiki, and I knew that they could not afford it, and then I worked with them. So, you just, and I've always told my students, give back. For me, if there's anybody going through cancer, ongoing treatment, right now they're currently going through cancer treatment, they never pay anything ever. So that, to me, that's my way to give back. I know Becky likes to work with animals a lot, and I know she doesn't ask for anything for that. So everybody gives back in their own way.
Right.
So
Sure.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight and talking to us
Yes,
here. And
anytime.
so no, it's
Yeah.
been great. And hopefully we'll see you again here sometime soon. And maybe
Please do, because I've got 19 years worth of stories to share sometime.
maybe
I got
we'll
some good ones.
maybe we can set up a Reiki teaching class sometime at Ashmore or at the theater here or something. And if you're traveling down south or something like that, so let
We'll
me know.
talk.
It'd be interesting to do it.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, thanks much again for coming on and joining us tonight. We really
Anytime.
appreciate it. It's been great. So
Yep, and good questions from the chat room.
So, and it's great having questions from there because sometimes you start running out, and or they come up with some better ideas than I do. So, in my head, there's nothing up here to stop anything. Most of it just kind of wanders on out. But we will let you go. Have a good evening. And,
yes, please tell Norma I said hello. Mike, you feel better. I'll send you some Reiki, Mike. So here we go.
There you go. All right.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Good night, Tina.
Bye.
Well, it's great having Tina on tonight. And, it's just always it's fun to have people on. And, one thing that Mike and I try to do, we don't necessarily want to always bring on the big, the celebrity paranormal person. We want to bring somebody on that's like in the trenches, that's out there doing things, and not just being on TV show. Because honestly, some of these people on TV shows, they don't have a clue compared to somebody like Tina, and so it's great to have people like that on that are willing to come out and share with their knowledge and everything with us. And one thing that I just wanted to touch base with also. Before, and I meant to do it earlier, and I forgot about it. I left myself a note here to make sure I did it. When you're looking, it's getting crazy again out there right now. So watch out for the scammers. I posted tickets on sale for our tours today at Ashmore, and it was probably within about 30 seconds to 2 minutes. We had 4 or 5 people wanting to sell the tickets because they couldn't go. Hadn't sold a ticket yet, but there's 4 or 5 people that had 4 and 5 tickets to sell. So I went in, and of course, being my kind, soft-natured person that I am, I went on and just asked them questions like, how many tickets, what time are the tickets, and then when we got done, then I pretty much had to bust them out and tell them, you really suck at your job as a scammer because I'm the one that set the event up, and you don't have any tickets, and I know this, so quit trying to cheat people out. Go get a real job. Maybe you can help society by becoming a real human being and getting a real job rather than trying to scam people. So, but make sure when you're buying tickets, I know there's some couple of more cons coming up, cryptic cons coming up soon. Make sure you're buying them just from the organization. And if they said they're sold out and somebody wants to sell tickets, contact them and ask them if this person bought tickets from them. Because if they didn't, you're probably going to get scammed out of some money. And these people here want to know what my budget was. It's like, okay, so you don't have any idea how much tickets are worth because you're scamming for $15 ticket. And so just make sure you're make sure you're buying tickets that are legit and not buying something that's out there that nobody has any idea. So, but next week, Tina actually mentioned this earlier. Ohio State Reformatory. We've got Greg and Kathy will be with us from Ohio State Reformatory next week. They were actually with us, sat across from us up at when we were at Michigan. So, looking forward to them coming on next week and talking to us. And Mike will be back next week. Maybe it's time for me to take some vacation time and do that stuff. So, but Mike will be back next week, and so we'll have his bubbling personality here with us, talking to you guys as well. So that's it from here. I appreciate everybody coming on tonight, and please stop in and join us next week. We'll be on here at 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern, and talking about Ohio State Reformatory. So have a good night, everybody.
My name is Mike, and I'm the founder of the Lost Limbs Foundation. The Lost Limbs Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides assistance to amputee children in need of prosthetics. I started the charity after my own struggles after my leg being amputated just above the knee. Prosthetics cost thousands of dollars, and the average lifespan is 5 to 7 years on a prosthetic. Kids are constantly growing, so they'll go through multiple prosthetics throughout their life. This is the prosthetic leg that I use, and the cost was about $70,000. The Rhodes Hotel is in Atlanta, Indiana, and is owned and operated by the Lost Limbs Foundation. We are currently doing photo shoots, ghost hunts, and special events to help raise money for the charity. For more information, you can go to lostlimbsfoundation.org. With your help, we can help these kids one step at a time.